All right. So everyone's freaking out this morning because of this rally in the pound, triggered by the news that the talks were going to continue up to New Year's Eve if necessary. I don't think we should be surprised by this move in the pound though, because we've been in an uptrend. We had a bullish cross of our daily moving averages. We pull back to the daily 50 moving average, which is always a good place to stop. If we put our fibs on like this, we pull back to the 50%. In fact, I would say if you didn't know anything about the news that was going on, this move in the pound was a textbook buy, because, and we also made, if we go down to a 4 hour, a textbook equal measured move correction. And that is here. You can see A, B, C. Stopped at the equal measured move. So we've got an ABC move back to the daily 50%, back to 50%, back to the daily 50 moving average, like everything is says pound rally, or at least a pound retest to the highs. So all of these people going, what the hell is going on with the pound, and trying to sell it, you know, honestly, there was no, it was always one of those levels where you need to be really careful. So here we've got this channel in the pound. The top of this next channel will be the next kind of place we'll have a little bit of a conversation about, are we going up or not? I shouldn't really move that. I need to get rid of that. Yeah, there we go. And so on. So we're going to retest the highs. The highs are interesting in the pound because this was a bounce off a really big level in what looks like a really big bottoming pattern, doesn't it? It certainly was the high in 2019. And yeah, just kind of one of those levels. If we go to the monthly, there it is, you can see. So important resistance. And if we get above this level, I think we can look to these lows, which is the sort of London Bridge lows at 1.4 for our next upside. So that's what I'm looking for, 1.4 next, if we can close above 1.35. That's a 500 pip trade. So bear that in mind when you're looking at your stop and you're buying a pullback. You know, there's really nice risk reward on this trade if we can get above it. Now, you could, if you were buying here, you would be buying into, let's be honest, you would be buying into really big resistance. But as long as you know that that's really big resistance and it fails there and you kind of get out of the way, I don't think it's such a terrible idea. At the moment, obviously, we need a little bit of a pullback. So in all of the other pound pairs that we were looking at, for trade ideas, for example, we were looking at the breakdown of this wedge here in the Canadian dollar, weren't we? It's starting to look like a little bit of a false breakdown, and it may be rallying the other way. This is a monthly chart of this Canadian. Here's our false breakdown, third touch. And so if the talks continue, we'll go to the top of the wedge and we'll break out. But if we don't, you know, I would say the pound against the dollar is not a good short just because of the way it's been trading. But the pound against the Aussie or the Canadian might be, if we really do have no deal Brexit, then the pound or the Aussie or the pound against the Canadian would be my favourite shorts. The pound New Zealand dollar is another one I looked at, but when I look at this, so in the pound New Zealand, this is a monthly chart. From this high to low, we stopped at the 50%, which would mean we would come 50% back, which we've done textbook. So again, this is another one where we've done a textbook ABC back to the exact level where we would expect it to come back to. Really good support, previous support, on a closing basis at least anyway. So this pound New Zealand doesn't say sell me at all. It says I've got more upside. Now, if we because we're doing that 50%, 50%, 50% thing where we keep pulling back 50%, well, if we go from this high to this low and we get to the 50% in the middle and fail, you can see that was a perfect ABC with a 61.8. Well, if we were going to look to sell this pound New Zealand, these previous highs and this 50% level would be where it's at. But you know, flat moving averages, and this is the weekly chart, in the middle of a range is not my kind of ideal setup, you know. So perhaps this is not the ideal one. Now I could see it. I could see we do 5 waves up, we do 3 waves back, but I have a feeling when I look at this pound New Zealand that we've done our 3 waves back, and actually we could see, this says to me more likely we're going to see dramatic upside movement, and that's all pointing to, like, every FX chart I look at points to a Brexit deal getting done. So shorting the pound, and look, if you're short of the pound or you're planning on it, just be very careful.